let me write something with love and danger. Now, I've done that a couple of times before. I did that in The Guardian, and then I did that in Safe Haven. And in those two novels, and they're similar to, I suppose, See Me in structure, in that they are love stories that then devolve into thrillers. But the tension, the suspenseful part of those two novels, The Guardian and Safe Haven, really arose from the fact that the bad guy was closing in, right? And you knew it was coming, and you knew it was coming, and you wondered what was going to happen, you know? So I said, what can I do to make this one different? How can I make See Me different? Because that's what I tried to do, is to make all the novels very different from each other, with the exception of a couple of familiar elements. North Carolina, a couple falls in love, nice, or characters that you like, or you feel like you can know. So I said, well, what can I do? So I said, well, instead of just a thriller in which the bad guy closes in, let me add confusion to the mix, where you don't know who the bad guy is, and you don't know what exactly is coming, and you don't know why it's coming. And the further you read, and the more something gets clarified, the more and more confusing it gets, right? It is a twisty mystery thriller, like something Harlan Coben would write, or rather, it's my attempt to do what he does so exceptionally well, is to leave you guessing until the final page. So there we go. So it started with that, and then you say, if I want to do that, you start building on that little idea into the novel that became See Me.
So was it really, really tough to write something? Because you've done a lot of suspense and love stories together. Was it tough to put a love story in a thriller?
Oh yeah, it's impossible. It's.
But you did it.
Yeah, well, look, it's only been done. I mean, it was so funny that, part of this tour, I got a request from Goodreads to come up with my five best romantic thrillers. Of course, I can't count The Guardian or See Me or Safe Haven. It has to be new. So I'll give you one. Sleeping with the Enemy. Right? Who's got another one?
Don't be shy. Even if it's your own love story.
Really tough. Now, why is that? Now, there's a lot of thrillers with a romantic element. Like, and it's easiest probably to do it with a film, because let's say the Bourne Identity. Probably everyone in here has seen that, right? So you got Matt Damon, and he's Jason Bourne, and he's got amnesia, and he meets goes into the bank and finds all these passports and things like that, right? And then he meets the French girl, right? And she drives him to Paris, because that's where he's got to go. Well, by the time they hit Paris, they're madly in love. Did that feel real? No. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, if Matt Damon's there, yes.
Well, right. But you see what I mean? It's like, okay, but that's not what I do. I mean, there's a difference between love and, physical stuff. I mean, and so what I try to do is love. So why is it hard to write one? Because love, or the process of falling in love, is really an internal struggle, right? It's an internal conflict with oneself. Is he the right one? What about his past? Is he ever going to get over his deceased wife, like in Message in a Bottle? This internal conflict, right? Well, external conflict, frankly, is more page-turning and compelling, right? It is. I mean, look, you have someone, and when you compare, does he love me? I'm not sure, versus a stalker in the window with a knife. Which one's more compelling, right? And I often say, and that's just the way it is in real life. If your child is in the hospital and he's in a life and death situation, you are not sitting there thinking, gee, I sure hope my husband brings me flowers to show how much he loves me. No, you're worried about your child. It's external, right? So that's just the nature of it. So to do these, what you have to do is to fully establish the love story first, And then the thriller begins to take over. But of course, you've got to be fair to the reader, so you've got to weed in parts of the thriller all the way through, but they just don't take over. The external conflict doesn't take over until the internal conflict is done. That's a very complicated answer. It's really hard. If you ever write one, good luck. Read all 3 of my books, because that's how you do it. That's really all you gotta do. Because nobody else is sleeping with the enemy, right? It's really, really hard.